Okay. So we just about to log in. So when you're leaving from Kushalnagar, after you finish eating, you can take a call. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Ah, are we?
They're online.
No. Are we on mute? Or?
No, no.
Mute it.
We're just waiting for the numbers to pick up a little bit, and then we'll start it off.
Hello,
Yes.
everyone.
Hi.
Hi. So shall we start, or shall we wait for the numbers to pick up a little bit more?
I think we can wait.
Sure.
Thank you.
So hello to everyone here. I'm Deepak, and this is Nishchita.
Hello.
Hi. So we're still waiting for another minute, I think, for us to start off the event. I hope everybody found it easy to connect online.
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Anup. So, shall we start then? I think we can go ahead and start the event now. Sure. Shall we start?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Deepak, please.
Sure. Hello, everyone, and welcome to iPrep today. I'm Deepak, and this is Nishita. Thank you all for joining in. We will be hosting today's event. We have a lineup of some very interesting sessions today, and this will also be telecast live on YouTube right now. Today's topic is the education for NextGen and how we prepare. I think the mic is reverberating. We can hear people talking also, I think. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So iPrep today, Skill Foundation is a Section 8 non-profit company focused on educational transformation, personal and professional enablement, and women and community empowerment. In simple terms, iPrep today will guide and prepare the new challenges that lie ahead. Real-world challenges are very different from academia. The transition is when a lot of us experience setbacks and uncertainty. Team iPrep today came together to create a platform that will enable focused preparation.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think someone, please unmute one of the audio out. Satta and two. I think audio is coming from 2 point. So I think 1 point need to be muted. Please.
Yes. Yes, I think there's an echo that's happening. Is it better right now?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
It's quiet now. Thank you.
Perfect. So as I was saying, in simple terms, iPrep today will guide and prepare the new generation for the challenges that lie ahead. Real-world challenges are very different from academia, And the transition is where a lot of us experience setbacks and uncertainties. This is why Team iPrep today came together to create a platform that would enable future generations to have a guided path to their achievements in the real world, preparing them to work around all challenges, be it on a personal, professional, or psychological front. We ourselves have faced a lot of challenges during our transition from academia to professional life. Unfortunately, during that time, we did not have an informed, guided hand that would have helped us have a more focused and clear idea of what we wanted to achieve, where we wanted to go in life, and how to handle challenges like judgments, lack of confidence, professional setbacks, and inability to make informed decisions, to name a few. Spending over 2 decades in the corporate world, today for almost 9 years of trial and error, self-experimentation, learning new methodologies, and exploring more about life, we both are proud to have started an organization called Singularity that focuses on empowerment, motivation, and personal development. Nishita and I are coaches and trainers of neuro-linguistic programming, mental space psychology, and we also have our own workshop called EIO, or Evolution of the Intelligent Organism. Based on studies in biology, psychology, neurochemistry, and the quantum world, we show you how you are in absolute control of your life. If you were able to create your life so far with the available resources in your environment, which might have been through your fears, insecurities, lack of confidence, or lack of information, imagine what you could achieve with a strong self-image, a confident guiding hand, and a clear focus on your vision for life. This is why we have joined hands with iPrep today in hosting this event, as we seem to be sharing the vision of empowerment and enablement to create a strong future generation that would be the building blocks of a new, happy, and confident world. This said, we welcome you all to be part of a revolution that could make the world a playground of choices and opportunities and wonderful possibilities. We are highly honored to have our 3 esteemed speakers, Mr. Yogeshwaran Govindaraja, Country Manager, Hemisbach, Malaysia, Professor Ashok Das, Vice Chairman, Odisha State Higher Education Council, and Dr. Biswajit Saha, Director Training, CBSE. A hearty welcome to you all, sir. Now I request the chairperson of the organizing committee, Mr. Raghavendra Subramani, to give the welcome address. Mr. Raghavendra.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak and Nishchita for the warm introduction. A warm welcome to all the participants of the webinar. I acknowledge and welcome the presence of our guest speakers, who happen to be again Professor Ashoka Das and Dr. Biswajit Saha. Along with them, we have media personnel, students and teachers, academicians, and the rest. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. I would like to quote my favorite line from Sanskrit. It says, Vidyadhanam sarvadhana pradhanam, meaning education is the wealth which is above all other wealth. And it is iPrep's endeavor to
I think we have a small technical issue. Mr. Raghavendra, are you able to hear us? I think there's a network issue. These are issues that are expected
during a webinar.
Yes. So I think we'll wait a couple of minutes or so. You're back. Mr. Raghavendra, you're back.
He said cannot. We are unable to connect. Let's move on with our next session. That is, we would like to invite Dr. Satya to take over and facilitate the Kahoot session now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Deepak and Nishchita, and I extremely sorry for the technical issues.
No,
As you
as
told,
expected.
yeah, as it expected. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar again. Happy Makar Sankranti, Bihu, Lohri to all of you. This cannot be another auspicious day to start this webinar, to be very frank, and I know all of you are actually waiting for the stalwarts to speak, and will not be coming in between you and those talks. But beforehand, let's take some time to warm it up. So before we start the presentations, can we have a very short game? It's not a quiz, it's a game. It's called Kahoot. So I will request all of you, all of the participants, can you please log into Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT. So there would be few questions. There would be 10 questions on NEP, and you will be given 30 seconds each. And it will be the faster you answer, the correct you answer, you get more numbers. That's it. It's very simple game. Please, I will request you to log into KAHOOT.IT. Once you go there, you will start getting this one. I will be giving you a game pin very soon in within a minute. And once you put the pin, then the next thing will come up. Okay, here we go. So I request all of the participants to please log in KAHOOT.IT, kahoot.it. Once you log in, once you put your name will come onto the screen. I request all of you to please participate in this game. We have just 10 questions. It's more of fun. This is not a quiz. This is just a game. Perfect. We have the first. Wow, that's too good. People are coming in. So we'll wait for 2 minutes or so. Once there are more people, we can start the game. And all the IPF members cannot participate in this game.
The pin, sir.
KAHOOT.IT. PIN number is 427-427-385. And we have some prizes at the end of this game. This is just to brush our knowledge on the NEP before we go on listening to the stalwarts on this the new policy. Let's have brush our knowledge on national education policy. That's very good. People are coming in. I would request all of you to please participate. We just wait for 1 more minute so that we can have more people. That would be a fun.
There are prizes at the end of this event, so I would advise everyone to join in.
Yes, we have few interesting prizes at the end of this. I would request all of you who can participate in this game. Bidar. We'll wait for another 30 seconds or so. Please, if you want to join, that would be really good. kahoot.it. kahoot.it. You will be getting the question on this screen again, and you have to click the right color. The answers are again written for each of these. This is a multiple choice. You have to just click the correct answer as soon as possible. So when you click it more faster, you will be getting more marks. It looks like we have quite good number of participants. Can we start now? Yeah, just log into kahoot.it and the pin is 427385. 427385. You can just put your name. That's it. Okay, let's start the game now. You start. Okay, if you still Jaldi. Oh, you are still participant coming up. Okay, can we start the game? Yes. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Be ready for the first question. NEP stands for. We have 30 seconds to answer the question. NEP stands for. You have to just click the right color which and the answers are written below. So here we go. So we are at the first question, and this is so the podium who has got more answers. You will be finding more later. Can you go to the next one, please? So Krupali Sangvi, you are this is at the podium in the first question. Let's go to the second question. What are goals of NEP? What are goals of NEP? Four answers. The faster you click, the correct you click, you get more marks. What are the goals of NEP? Again, the same podium Krupali still holds the podium. Next one, please. What does experimental learning mean? Experimental learning means, you have 30 seconds to answer, please. There are some changes, but still the number one goes to Krupali again. Next question, please. What is rote learning? What is rote learning? And you have all the 4 answers written below. Just go through this and click it as soon as possible. You have 20 seconds to go now. Okay, so we are almost at the halfway. We have 5 questions gone. We have another 5 questions. Oh, there is a change. There is a change in the podium. Next questions, please. What is the objective of Languages of India project? What is the objective of Languages of India project? You have 5 questions to go. There could be many changes. Okay, Priyadashini leads the way. Can I have the next question, please? What is the focus of scientific education according to NEP? What is the focus of scientific education according to NEP? Again, Priyadashini leads. Can we have the next question? The vision of NEP is, all these questions are actually coming from the material which I've already shared with you all. The vision of NEP is, wow. Here we go. The next question. Identify the key principles of NEP. Identify the key principles of NEP. Use of technology, community participation, equity, inclusion, and all of the above. There you go. Again, Priyadashini leads the way. We will do the last one question. This is the 9th question. Bringing back dropout in initiative under. Bringing back dropouts is an initiative under. So here we come to the last question of this Kahoot game today. Here goes the last question, and Priyadarshini still leads, but you still have chance to overtake Asita. Here goes the last question. Interactive classes reduce dependency on textbooks. It's a very low hanging fruit, but the faster you click, the more marks you get. Three, two, one. Here goes. So that's the end of the Kahoot today. We will not go to. We will be giving you the results once after all the presentations are done. Thank you very much, all of you, and thank you very much for participating in this quiz. It was really nice having you. So now it's over to Deepak and Nishita.
Thank you, Dr. Saha.
Satya.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Satya, for the interesting and fun Kahoot. Viewers and participants, I'm sure you all enjoyed it too. So now I would request all of you to stand in front of your respective cameras because we're going to have a group picture. And I will count down from 3. If you could all just stand in front of your camera so we could all take a group picture. So that's 3, 2, 1, snapped. Have we got the picture? Yes?
Maybe one more time.
Yes, let's go 3, 2, 1 again. That's 3, 2, 1, snap. Yes? Thank you, Dr. Satya.
Thank you. So now I would like to invite Dr. Snigdha Mishra, one of the directors of IPREP today, to give us a clear picture of what IPREP is all about. Dr. Snigdha Mishra is an associate professor in the Division of Nutrition and Dietetics at the International Medical University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. A nutritionist advocating sustainable nutrition and actively promoting a healthy lifestyle, Dr. Snigdha works in the public health, private sector, and education and research. She has worked in the geriatric nutrition, improving the quality of life of the elderly by improving their appetite and reducing intake. She's also involved in auditing of the academic programs and community engagement. The elderly has been awarded with a Silver Award for the Best Community Program at the 9th Annual Global CSR Summit and Awards and the Global Good Governance Awards 2017 held in Langkawi, Malaysia. She was also awarded the Community Leadership Award, Innovation in Community Service, IMU 2017. Over to you, Dr. Snigdha.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Nishita. If the host can give me the access to share my slides, please. Can I get an access, please? Thank you. A very good evening to everyone. Today, I would like to take you into the world of IPREP. Hope you enjoyed the Kahoot quiz as of now. The pandemic has actually taught us quite a lot to expect the unexpected. Hence, in education, we must also prepare not only ourselves, but also the next generation for the better. As Malcolm X mentions, I quote him, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare it for today." So in this context, IPREP has actually stepped in to do the needful. So IPREP brings to you the protective gear for tomorrow's next generation. With this, IPREP has envisioned to produce a 21st century learner through a 360-degree enablement system that contributes to the future workforce equipped with next-gen technology, advocating core competencies, including critical thinking and problem solving. So what does this vision take us to? With this, I take you into the goals of IPREP. The goals of IPREP are to demonstrate and increase self-awareness and personal understanding. It will also develop strong working knowledge of leadership capabilities in a values-centered framework. The participants who engage with IPREP will also show competency in managing people and teams within public-private organizations. The participants shall also demonstrate multicultural competency for a global citizenship. Participants shall also demonstrate innovations through lifelong learning and technological advancement. Through these 5 goals, IPREP envisions to achieve its own vision. All of us are talking about 21st century skills. There are quite a number of skills which needs to be acquired for the next gen. Even for the current generation, why talk about the next generation? These skills can be categorized basically into 3 groups. One is the learning skills, the literacy skills, as well as the life skills. The literacy skills are quite common. We get it through different forms as long as we are into education. Through education, these skills can be acquired to a certain extent, if not all. However, learning skills and life skills comes through actual living the life. So this is where the gap lies in our current education system as well as in the curriculums across the globe. So in order to close this gap, IPREP has come up with this 360 degrees enablement. Now to give you a glimpse of what this 360-degree enablement is, the schools, colleges, institutes of higher learning teach you a particular program to qualify for a particular profession. However, there is very limited scope for these institutions to teach beyond the curriculum because of the tight schedules and the rules given by the accrediting bodies. So we are confined into boxes. So also we confine the thinking of the students into boxes. So it is here where the IPREP comes in order to give an insight beyond the curriculum. You don't have to have attend classes in order to attain this 360 degrees enablement. It can be done on your own. So some of the key characteristics of this 360 enablement program, I could bring you here to digital badge, networking, grooming, industrial visit, financial enablement, work readiness, and so on. With that, IPREP does not focus necessarily on the current generation. We are now dealing with Generation Y, we are dealing with Generation Z, and the future generation is going to be the Generation Alpha. But have we ever prepared? How do we deal with Generation Alpha? How do we deal with Generation Z? So this is where we are trying to close the generation gap. In IPREP, when we want to enable the 360 degrees, we don't focus on any specific generation. Anyone can learn it. After all, learning is lifelong. We do not become, we are not saturated with learning. So we always grow by learning. So this model applies and cuts across different generations too. Hence, IPREP inspires creativity. It promotes critical thinking, recommends solutions, encourages collaboration, and propels innovation. Why should we do this? Because these are the key skills needed for students to develop in order to thrive in today's and tomorrow's dynamic workplace. So this platform gives us three different components to embrace. One is self-directed learning. We don't need to attend any classes. This can be beyond a classroom. You can study on your own. And the best teacher has been the pandemic. Without going to schools and colleges, still students are learning at home. So self-directed learning is the way forward. Remote learning, that's what we are doing now. All webinars, conferences have been converted into webinars. We are in the different corners of the world, yet we are connecting together. And the most important thing is we have always forgotten the community to give and the community to take from. So the community to give is to share our knowledge and expertise with those who are unable or who are unfortunate to not have imbibed this. And the community to receive is the community across different workforces where we garner experiences and learn from them in order to hone our own skills. So IPREP preaches and practices education beyond borders. This also does not restrict students or participants to any geographical location, or it does not restrict anyone across the age group, so it is open for one and all. It also provides a platform to give you a direction. How can one proceed? How can they find such an enablement program? Because the information is at our feet now. We are loaded and bombarded with so much of information, we are lost. Which one is the right one and which is the best pick for my individual or for my persona? So this is where this enablement program will help the candidate to reflect and refresh, to learn, unlearn, and relearn what can be done in order to improve the person. How much effort should I put in? Or what roles or industries can be the best suited for me? How can I become a global citizen? So these are some of the key questions we ask ourselves in order to move ahead and brace ourselves for the next gen workforce. So this has enabled us to develop two basic products. And one of the products is the manual for self-development. The other one is the mentoring the mentors workshop. Now these two products are being launched at this point of time, and especially the manual is being launched today. And I'm sure you'll all be glad to witness this kind of a product launching. All this would not have been possible without the dedication of this team. So please meet the team who is behind IPREP, the hidden faces behind this wonderful program. I hope I have given you a sneak peek into what IPREP is. Should you want to know more about IPREP, do log in at the website that is given below. Feel free to share your views and contact us. We'll be more than happy to answer all your questions to the best of our ability. Thank you very much and enjoy the next session.
Thank you, Dr. Snigdha. That is really nice, the way you explained this wonderful initiative so beautifully. Thanks a lot for that. So now, participants, if you have any doubts, if you wish to know more, you can always type in the chat box here on Zoom. And so now let me introduce you all to our first speaker today, Honorable Mr. Yogeshwaran Govindaraja, an advocate of continuous learning. Mr. Yogeshwaran started his professional career as a help desk agent at IBM, Malaysia, and climbed up the corporate ladder to the senior management position over the span of 21 years. Today, he is a country manager of Hermesburg, Malaysia, looking after the whole country operations. He believes continuous learning is how you grow. He is passionate in building, strengthening, and leading through mentoring and coaching. On the personal front, Warren enjoys getting involved in his daughter's education and hobbies. He's an avid cook and enjoys listening to movie soundtracks. So let's welcome Mr. Yogeshwaran Govindaraja. Mr. Yogeshwaran, we are really fortunate to have you speak on this platform today about the mindset of the next generation and if they're future ready. Now, I request you to kindly share your thoughts on the same.
Okay, thank you very much, Deepak and Nishita, for the lovely introduction. Let me just share my screen, yeah?
Sure.
Mr. Yogeshwaran, just give me a moment. I would like to ask the participants to write their questions in the chat box, and we will be addressing them when we read them. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Yogeshwaran.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairperson, Mr. Raghavendra, founder of iPrep, Mr. Anup, Dr. Snida, Dr. Satya, and my fellow presenters, Professor Ashoka and Dr. Biswajit, and to everybody. Well, first and foremost, happy Pongal if you're celebrating. Obviously, what's an auspicious day it is to, really start off such a noble initiative. So thank you once again for having me here. I'm just going to be sharing a little bit on my thoughts, what really we are going to do with our next generation and their mindset. Obviously, it's a big challenge, but I'm pretty sure we can work something out. Okay, now the theory of evolution, as described by Charles Darwin in his book, is really a process of change over time. Changes really allowing organisms to better adapt to its environment, to help survive. There has been, scientific evidence and obviously stuff like that. These evolutions have moved on for ages and it will continue to develop as we go on. And obviously what you've seen with COVID, it keeps evolving again and again. So where does this take us to? Evolution obviously not limiting itself to a natural selection process, but to machines as well. So I, for one, is from an IT industry, and that's one area we have seen tremendous evolution and changes. So as what you see in this chart, industrial revolution has literally transformed every industry, and the changes has forced many of us out of our comfort zone to embrace all these innovative changes. I mean, we are talking about IR 4.0, the robotic age, and a lot of people are already even speculating there's going to be an IR 5.0. That's really going to be making a huge impact in the industry as well. Talks about uniting creativity and innovation with human mind. Again, it's a myth or it's something we see in the movies. We don't know. Okay, so another popular buzzword that I want to introduce you, obviously you're familiar with this, disruption. So with all this evolution happening, there's bound to be a fair amount of disruption that's going to come along. So people in general love new innovation. And though the disruption causes a ripple, it definitely won't be a huge wave of change as long as the disruption is to some extent sustainable. Right, so the new generation is really going to have to equip themselves because the kind of disruption that they have seen is something far more greater than what I myself personally have seen over my years. I used to have the Nokia 3310 handphone for a while before I switched to iPhone, but that took almost 10 to 15 years. But today it's becoming like a half-yearly affair for a lot of younger generation. So disruption is happening everywhere, and our next generation have to really take it by the horn, whether it's political, whether it's economical changes, social changes, technological. These are going to force our youths, our younger generation to really have to embrace it with a little more enthusiasm. So the biggest question to really ask is, do you really evolve due to disruption, or is disruption just a continuum of evolution, or they just happen to work, hand in hand? So these are some examples of disrupted businesses, or like how I mentioned in the beginning, how Charles Darwin puts it, they are really the unfortunate lot who are not part of the elite that survived the fittest. And obviously, any of us would have not thought these changes were going to come. I always thought BlackBerry was the coolest phone ever. And then, when cameras with film was the best things. And I miss my days of hanging out at the minibus when I was on my way to college. And then look at Amazon, from disrupting the bookstore. Today, Borders is literally disappearing. So people don't really go and buy books physically, and it's all online. They've innovated so much and made a major change, disruption in that sense, and they've become the world's most valuable company. One thing to note here, what really made Amazon a winning strategy is because they innovated and they advanced in a truly customer-centric experience. So their evolution was pretty much seamless. One thing that made it a winning point for them is they integrated into our lives very easily. And that's where a winning mindset actually comes from. Okay. So here's just a little look about, what are we going to get into when we change our mindset. So it's really important for us to solidify our younger generation's mind and to help our talents reinforce and prepare. If you see the quote there, 94% of business leaders do expect employees to pick up new skills on the job. So it's all about self-learning fueled by initiative. And here we have 15 most sought out skills for 2025. Change in mindset is really going to start with a change in skills outlook. Obviously, this is quite an exhaustive list. So I would strongly recommend 5 of my top selection that I feel is the ones that are going to be really making a difference for our younger generation. Okay, so here's an interesting video about how change is going to be like for the next generation. Basically an extension of what you saw earlier from the World Economic Forum. So let me just play the video. Oops.
Shaping our social systems and no audio. Jobs worldwide in the next 5 years. While clients are more adapted to this new task distribution. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, are already reskilling and upskilling. By 2025, months for workers to pay their pay scales. But to start transitioning, will 2/3 of employees ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets.
Okay, so that's really a wake-up call video, yeah. Like like what I mentioned, COVID-19 has really pushed us to look into automation, creation of new roles, reskilling of jobs. But reskilling alone is not really the answer for it, but it is going to be more like repurposing. So what is really important to note is these changes will definitely give room for more productivity and more creativity. A lot of us who are in the working industry are aware that every year there is savings to be done. Every year there is more work that added, minus of course the salary increase. So where do we collectively lead our next generation, and what exactly do we literally do with them? So these are just some key takeaways that I would like to leave everyone with. Basically, to embrace technology. In every industry, you cannot run away from this fact that technology is going to be there for long. How fast somebody picks up is what matters the most. And obviously, to adapt and to collaborate, all workplaces with new skills, in fact, including remote learning, and also the changes that we have seen so far due to the disruption, is something that we have learned to quickly adapt and move on. Children are today learning from home and schools are closed. A lot of changes have come forward that we were not prepared for. And obviously, it's important for younger generation to change their mindset in building their communication skills. To me, I feel this is definitely very important, because if they're going to continue standing behind a shadow and not really stepping forward into the limelight, they are definitely going to lose out. The fourth one is to really understand different cultures. Today, with what we have seen, everything cuts across. World is no longer flat; it's even shrinking at a very much faster pace. So it's very important for people to understand this, that the younger generation needs to adapt and also move on. Last but not least, my advice is get on iPrep and definitely change your life. For me, mentoring has done wonders, and I'm looking forward to see how our younger generation can embrace this and move on much faster. Now, just a last note, if you were to ask me, preparing our younger generation, is this something that we would have to do? To me, it's really a necessity. It is no longer an option whether we want to take on our younger generation and move on, but it's something that we have to do for them and their future. So thank you very much. And then back to you, to our MCs.
So thank you very much, Mr. Yogeshwaran. That was a beautifully presented presentation and very well done. So I'm actually, in fact, I'm very happy that you brought up this thing of looking at COVID-19 as an opportunity to be inclusive and fair. It is really nice. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joining us next is an amazing visionary, Honorable Professor Ashok Kumar Das. Dr. Ashok Kumar Das is the Vice Chairman of the Odisha State Higher Education Council. Dr. Das has worked as a distinguished scientist in the Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, as a head of the Laser and Plasma Division. He was the first person without a teaching background to be selected as a Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, Odisha. An acclaimed scientist, Professor Das has presented 1,430 papers at various conferences, workshops at the national and international level, including countries such as Russia, Italy, Czechoslovakia, Israel, and South Africa. Professor has been a member coordinator in different fire plant projects and is also a member of the advisory committee in the Department of Science and Technology. He has won several awards and commendations. So today, Professor Das will be talking about adaptability to self-learning among educators. So let's extend a warm welcome to Professor Ashok Kumar Das. Professor Das, thank you very much for choosing to accept our invitation to grace this occasion, this event, with your presence and wisdom. So we now invite you to share your thoughts and insights on this topic, adaptability to self-learning among educators.
So good evening or good afternoon, whichever time zone you are now in. And I must say I am very, very happy to be here. A good day today, Makar Sankranti for us, Lodi for some people, Bihu or Pongal. For all of you, my greetings. And of course, I am really happy to have the opportunity to listen to so many young people, the way their worldview, and as contrasted to the worldview that my generation has been having. Now, as I have been requested, or the topic suggested, is adaptability to self-learning amongst the educators. Now, if you look at the history of education for last why not last 5,000 years, now you will find adaptability has been the key, as previous speakers had indicated. When the socio-economic conditions and cultural, socio-cultural changes happen in evolving human society, adaptability is the key, and new challenges human beings have proved that they are extremely capable. In fact, their inner capability gets enhanced, and it has been demonstrated in the face of challenges, which in modern languages you call as disruptions, and a response responding to disruptions. As such, human mind has infinite capabilities. Human brain capacity is not limited to a chip that goes on expanding its capacity over generations of its evolution. So, the first people to change, if you look at the acharyas of Gurukul in India, or the university teachers, the coming in of the printing press, for example, and availability of books and making of the libraries, then the early university system and coming in of the industrial revolution, and a strong correlation between industry and education per se. And also, all of us have seen the gradual change in value system. If you, some those of you who have a glimpse of the generation from which I have come, you, this generation perhaps has gone to 2 or 3 drastic transformations in technology, and also in terms of the socio-economic changes and equity. In equity, one group, the accessibility changing from amongst the varied groups. Now, education cannot be a thing which is actually different in this. Now, the new generations are there with the technology revolution. I may not be able to operate an iPhone as well as my grandson or my granddaughter. And therefore, for when we look at the new generation and the education that we are looking at a completely technology driven education. You talk about artificial intelligence, the learning management systems, the digital repositories in place of libraries. Then the contents are gradually and sharply being divided into the foundational areas and competency skill areas. And gradually, the learning, the university education is becoming learner centric. The learner is going to learn at his own pace, in his own time, in his own selected mode, own selected institution. And this where, how, what, when is now going to be dependent on the new generation. Nothing much can be done. And so the learning and the educators suddenly are faced with a challenge. We have just finished an age where educators were the supreme, starting from the early teachers, even with the university professors today. The teachers were holding the key to the entire process. Gradually, it is as my previous speaker, Govind Rajaji, spoke, that it is going to become, the teacher is going to become 2 things mainly. And this is what the teachers, educators must realize, that they must become friend, philosopher, guide, which is another way you are calling mentors. And of course, they must also become in partnership, knowledge creators. So the educators now would face changes from their centuries of dominance to just be a friend and help and mentor the learner to learn. And believe me, my dear friends, this is a very great challenge. This is a very great change in mindset. And therefore, it is necessary that the educators start patterning themselves to this new mindset and new set of philosophies. Because the internet has replaced most of, correctly or wrongly, but it has replaced. Now we call, if you cannot find a concept, go to Google. And therefore, we all need to think how to create facilities, how to facilitate the facilities, and how to make it this transition seamless. COVID-19, of course, as again Govindrajaji spoke, has been a, I cannot say it is a blessing, because we all have gone through some kind of isolation, mental depression, pressure, and all that. The major problem that all of us, particularly in places like India and various parts of India, are going to face in the new generation is what fashionably is being called as the digital divide. Now, all of you, this word digital divide became so apparent during the pandemic, where remote teaching were going on. Now, 30 to 40% of the students did not really have access to the remote learning. An institution like the Indian Institutes of Technology, a Harvard University or a MIT would probably on remote learning lose some of their revenues, but they will make up. But you imagine where there are socially and economically disadvantaged groups, and there are many of them. The main aim of education becomes equity, access, inclusivity, and these synthesized or symbiotic with excellence, with quality education, and enabling them in terms of livelihood. The higher education institutions of future, where the educators will be the main facilitators, would be mainly involved in designing contents and teaching modes and giving options to the students, providing facilities, logistics, and of course, a complete flexibility, which in a way, a 360-degree flexibility, provide wide spectra in competency and skill training, provide libraries, probably collaborative mode in one's palm or in one's pocket, then provide innovative hands-on and experiential support, because now we see, due to pandemic, the experiential learning support in remote mode has started coming in. There is going to be a primary stress, and which the new national education policy speaks about, in research and innovation, because innovation is going to be the key. And in field of education, the research and innovation are going to hold the key, because the educators which were also the researchers, you see the number of educators across India and across the world, it is enormous. Add the student researchers to the kitty, and you find the potential is earth-shaking to develop new knowledge. And therefore, the research innovation, internationalization, technology resourcing, and developing unique band values are going to be the new normals. And therefore, it is the educator which will again play a key role in making this available to the students. And self-learning, self-motivation, and becoming more responsible and more professional. I use the word professional with great responsibility, and is going to be the key feature of ours. Now, what is the transition time? Now, if you see rest of the world, the transition time is maybe 5 years, and the transition has started. But if you talk about India, the NEP says the transition time is about 15 years. Now, why 15 years? Because you imagine the level at which and the diversity with which we operate in India and in my own state from where I am speaking, Odisha. To look at the institutions of eminence, probably for them to transit to the new, whether it is education 4.0 or 5.0, they are only nomenclatures. But for the 92 to 93% of students who learn in state institutions are going to face the challenge of transition. And therefore, one of the major key features in all state policies now is how to induce what we call now as guided self-learning in and transition into self-learning, because all of us have realized that self-learning is going to be the key, because the choice is going to be the learner, and physical teaching may not be possible. The learner may not come. Now we no longer we can have a captive or a guaranteed and captive audience, and therefore we all need to be aware of this, that the next step is capacity building in motivation, capacity building in new professionalism. Professionalism is going to be the new value system, and of course, knowledge creation and adoption to these new normals. State governments are becoming aware of it. We are becoming aware of it, and we are definitely going in this direction. And therefore, there is a great role of the NGOs and organizations like IPREP. I must congratulate IPREP to have come in. You remember the Universal Literacy Program and the role of NGOs in them. I am sure the new age is going to be grateful to organizations like IPREP, who are going and coming in and are preparing the future generation of learners and educators alike. In fact, I think I have enrolled into one of their pilot mentorship program to have a look and get trained in their brand of uh, preparedness for the new generation people. And I am sure it is going to be enjoyable, because there is always a knowledge gap between my generation and perhaps the generation this is one younger than us. So very grateful to you for coming so much of geographical distance to catch me, and I am definitely glad, and my best wishes to all of you for your success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful speech on the importance of self-learning among educators. It was really an eye-opener. So thank you so much. So next we move on to our next speaker, Honorable Dr. Biswajit Saha, who's a Director, Training and Skill Education in CBSE, New Delhi. He manages the work of skill curriculum design, development of student resource books and training manuals, and monitors the execution of various teachers training programs by 16 CBSE Centers of Excellence. He also represents CBSE in various national and international committees. Prior to joining CBSE in 2011, Dr. Saha was a faculty member and HOD at the Government Engineering College, Agartala. He has also served as the OST Technical Education, Government of Tripura, and has worked with Tripura Central University and NIC Government of India in various capacities. Dr. Saha handled the execution of various development projects of the World Bank, AICTE, UGC, and MIT. He had actively participated in the drafting of NVEQF, NSQF, notified by MHRD, and MSDE in 2012 and 2013, respectively. He drives promotion of future skills in schools with strong industry association and oversees digital and education movement under Vidyadan at Diksha. So let's welcome Dr. Saha. Dr. Saha, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you on this platform on behalf of IPREP today. Thank you for accepting our invitation to share your valuable insights and inputs on the topic, Restructuring Education, National Education Policies. So viewers, let's listen to this enlightening session by Dr. Saha.
Thank you. I think learning is very easy, but unlearning is a very difficult task. So at this point of time, after listening Professor Das and Govinda Raja, Madam Misra, and you all, and that too also at the fag end of the sessions, I don't know how participant is going to take me. And the topic is also restructuring. So again, I feel the structuring is easy, but restructuring is very difficult task. Because the way we have structured the education system over a period of time, multiple decades we spent on structuring. Now, one fine morning, by name of new education policy, if we ask all of them to restructure, I don't think people are going to accept it. But at the same time, the way Industry 5.0 or 4.0 has been focused, I think it is time to introspect the process of learning. Professor Das has rightly mentioned that teacher-led education systems and towards how we can bring the transformations to the student-led. I think his dreams towards that university education, if really it means to take up to that level where student can think independently and choose the subject independently, I think policy talks about that dream. But how far as on date, how many university in the country or how many school board in the country offers that flexibility? Of course, from the side of CBSE, we can say we offer that flexibility to certain level at senior secondary level. So we offer one language and any 4 subjects out of our 200 subjects, both academic and skill. So flexibility is there, but at the same time, the rigid mindset of school management, be it in the government side or be in the private side, I'm not equating, but they are based on that infrastructure capability. They offer a basket and student and parents are supposed to choose from that basket only. Even individual student is dream of taking physics with music, then I think they need to consult Einstein in his violence session in dream. So that is not possible today in Indian ecosystem. I think their restructuring is highly required. The second one, if somebody wants to take physics with accountancy, the principal, either physics teacher would be annoyed or the commerce teachers, you are not fit for both the things. You should decide, this is your career. And sometimes parents are also keep putting a lot of pressure on that student. So ultimately, at certain point of time, they surrender. They may not surrender like Rabindranath Tagore to reject the systems or like Bill Gates to reject the systems. But they accept the changes as per the mindset prevailed generation after generations. And we, the speaker, are also not exceptions. We also, maybe in the forum, we talk so high, but if we look back to our household, our dream is also that our kid must get an employment, and that too also from the campus, like IIT or some NIT or some foreign institute, from where they can easily fetch a job. How many of us in that forum, both from the teaching side and from both from the entrepreneurial side, maybe at certain part of time I compliment that you just founded iPrep. So that's the foundations towards entrepreneur to entrepreneurial journey. But many a times we confused at certain stage, so that restructuring adhura reh jata hai. This is only in dream. So dream to reality, that bridging is highly required, and I think it is high time. We can talk about Industry 5.2. We can talk about the solution. I think I thanks Govinda Raja ji for highlighting the solutions. But it is time. So solution is there. And stakeholder, human resource, or so-called human beings are also ready to take up this solution. Why? But why? The process is not happening. That's a big question. No policy, no dream can bring that kind of solution. But solutions are already earmarked. So that means now we need to introspect towards the problem. And more we understand the problem, I think we can reach towards the effective solutions highlighted by Govindarajan. So at this point of time, my submission here to the learned community, that first of all, NEP talks about that structuring of early childhood education. Now how? One fine morning, complete unregulated sections will be regulated by the state machineries or so-called entrepreneur. I think here coherence is required. And my appeal to civil society, entrepreneur, and educator, yes, it is possible. What NEP talks about on FLN, I think government is going to constitute FLN as a mission, foundation literacy and numeracy skill. That is lacking, because with that lacuna, we upgraded class 1 to 5 or 5 to 6 or 7 to 9. With that error or with that misconceptions that prevail, it is not being corrected at every level. So I think there is a time how we can bridge that gap so that misconception of class 8 need to be corrected, even the child upgraded to class 9. No issue. So that's why the basic restructuring agenda is coming towards competency-based education. Now here, certain learning outcomes are defined by NCERT in the textbook. Now these learning outcomes and the textbook, there is certain disjoint. So maybe this new education policy and new national curriculum framework will translate the policy vision, and ultimately NCERT, state SCERT are going to bring the textual material both in national language or in vernacular, so that the learning outcomes, whatever are being defined, that need to be translated into the textbook. The second restructuring is required towards textbook is that whether an individual student, I think one speaker has highlighted that how one can read himself or herself. So that self-learning modular approach in the textual material is very much essential at this point of time. Of course, technology is going to play a big role, but not only technology. That reading skill, comprehension skill is highly required, and for that, easy and rationalized and low-loaded textbooks are required. The third restructuring is knowing the environment. I think more than textbooks, knowledge is there, repository is on the environment. And that's whatever iPrep initiatives has been showcased by Professor Misra. There, I think, focus should be there on environment and experiential-based learning. So the crux of competency-based education is fundamentally lies on experiential-based pedagogy. So suppose I'm giving a damn examples, because in different part of our country, if you look into the road accident and other, so if there is anything, any disturbance on the road, so many people pass on. Even if accident happened on the road, many people see and simply pass on. But so this seeing and pass on is a knowledge. And somebody get down from the car and took that victim to the hospital. That is experience. So knowledge sharing in the classroom, in a group or individually attention, I think that is happening for decades, from Gurukul to in technology era. This is happening. But people's like you, through your different survey, you alarm us, so your outcomes is not acceptable for the market. We call it employability skills or other skill. So at this point of time, how we can independently make every individual to experience that knowledge, that should be another focus of this restructure. So with all these things, technology, as I have mentioned, playing a key role. So new technology, how fundamentally can be embedded in the school curriculum, that is really a challenge, because one way, that rudimentary approach of physics, chemistry, and maths lab or biology lab, even sorry to say, even from the board, as a board representative, no new learning is there in that physics, chemistry, and biology lab. Biology, of course, certain level is there, but when dissections and other issues are being stopped. So again, I have a doubt, some theoretical learnings are being emphasized in the practical class. So students in reality are not enjoying the practical. So I think there is a huge requirement of curriculum revision, revisit, and even at secondary level, I believe that's science learning, because we don't want that everybody should learn science, but at the same time, we want that scientific temperament should be there with every individual. They may study political science or history or commerce-based subject, but that scientific temperament will lead them to acquire anything in life. So here comes the technology acquisitions is also another important factor of life. So we are discussing about design thinking approach. Maybe in India, specific scenario, the Jugaru technology is very much effective. Do it yourself, or that Jugaru technology in US, they may call it as design thinking. So we are bringing this technological concepts also here in the curriculum, but students need more freedom. So freedom to think, freedom for commitment, that is not there. So my urge to all educationists in your classroom, forget about class 10th and class 12th board assessment and competitive examinations for time being. You have enough time from early childhood education, that is now it is 3 years. We entered into the school system from year 5 or year 6. So it is 3 years, because scientists are talking about the brain developments and other parameters. So here at the early level, restructuring is required in terms of curiosity development. So in Global Innovation Index, how we position our country, that depends on core emphasis on that early childhood education. I think from that, technology infusions, I'm again repeating, because how artificial intelligence, IoT, and new technology, we don't know after 5 years what are going to be there, and how long that particular technology persists in the market. So that continuum process need to be developed, and teacher must be ready to embrace the changes. Otherwise, the fundamental mechanisms of teaching learning process, which prevailed for decades, as a teacher, let me confess, it is not possible for next century. So to encourage any student of any part of India, here is a requirement of proper cultural understanding. So beside technology, art integration is again fundamental, because it's a long back, it's a huge story line you might have heard. People around the world used to go for Oxford University degree program, maybe from down South America or North America, even from India and other subcontinent, they used to go for. And there I heard somebody have mentioned in one forum, there was a huge suicide rate, which is visible in Indian IIT or AIMS. So that means during that point of time, that the cause of suicide rate, okay, whatever you have learned from your country, here it is nothing. That means you have to unlearn and relearn. So those who sustain they becomes famous world leader in whatever domain they have taken education from that premier university. Here comes, we need to prepare citizen to become a global citizen. That's why art integration and understanding Indian ethos and value system, I think ultimately going to give them that level of mental well-being. We may sometimes termed as a rotifications cultures or somewhere, but at the same time, think of the stress. I am not for that, but I am for exponential learning. But at the same time, the mental well-being, the mental resilience is need of the times, and pandemics has rather given us that energy to boost up. So let us use that booster as a vaccine for the new educations. Thank you very much, I pray, and all the eminent speaker, all the participant for hearing me. And once again, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saha. And we now invite the speakers and the members of IPREP team for a panel discussion.
So I would like to add a few words before that. Dr. Saha, it is very informative, and with a leadership like this, we can be rest assured that the education of our future generation is in right hands. So thank you very much.
And we also love the fact that you said that use science, it could be biology, chemistry, whatever it is, in your daily lives. Use it as a process to run your daily lives. And that's something that we teach ourselves.
Yeah, because we all learn, but we don't know how to apply that learning in real life. So this is very important, and we're really glad that you brought it into the education system now, the new policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saha.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Deepak, and thank you, Nishchita. I welcome all of you, all the speakers, and Dr. Snigdha also to this panel discussion. So we do not have much time with us, but we have got few questions from the audience. So I'll put one or two questions to each of the speakers. I would definitely like a co-person to answer this one, please. And all our audiences will be enlightened by your talk. All of these talks were so enlightening. You can see the chat box, how people are actually reacting to this. To start with, I would have one question to Mr. Yogesh. So we all know, like, many jobs are being replaced in with the robotics and automation. What do you think, like, which kind of jobs will be high demand in the next decade? That's one part of the question. And the second one is, like, how do you prepare yourself for this age of disruption? Do you have any mantra for the young generation? Mr. Yogesh, please.
Well, no real mantra, but obviously the most important thing is to keep track of what's going on. You know, we must be aware. Today, with super connected world that we live in, that's not going to be much of a problem. During our time when we were growing up, we had to buy newspapers and, you know, buy magazines to keep track and talk to people to find out what's going on. But today, at our fingertips, we get information on the flow. So it's very important to understand the changes that are coming. The young generation has to definitely be prepared, keep up to date. To your question about new jobs, obviously there are a lot of terminology that we may have not heard in the last 5 years may be coming up. You know, for example, you know, jobs like, you know, a lab technician or a pharmacy technician. You know, why do you need a technician in a pharmacy? You know, these are people who manage systems, people who look after the technical aspects of hospitals. You know, roles like that would have never existed 5-10 years ago. But today, because of the demand in technological use in medical industry, it's so crucial to have. So if somebody who's in the medical field and they don't adapt themselves to this change, obviously they're going to be out of job.
Okay, thank you, Yogesh. That was too good. Like, we will be looking for all of these new jobs which will be coming in the next generation, and hopefully the young generation will be prepared for that one. Thank you very much. So, Professor Das, you have been a pioneer in revolutionizing education in Odisha, from Utkal University now to higher education. We have few questions for you, sir. As you have told, like, the research holds the key. That's true to every word. So Dr. Das, how can a research component come into school curriculum to foster critical thinking? Do you have, can you please?
You see, if you look at the NCERT textbooks, actually, you have inherent curiosity driven projects and ideas in NCERT books. They're actually excellent books. Our problem is the educators. Since we do not develop capacity in the educators for the same curiosity way of teaching, the NCERT book fails because basically this is something that one should take care of. So the NEP proposes that there will be no book experiential learning for 2 weeks. Then the NCERT books, if the educators are trained for analytical thinking, reasoning, logical reasoning, and also curiosity based, then it would work. By and large, today, if a child asks 5 questions, हम उसको बोलते हैं तुझे देख लेंगे चुप करके बैठ. So I don't think there is too much of problem in the curriculum that we have, though it needs restructuring. We need to develop the educators and nurture the curiosity from childhood, right from the parents. This is my thinking.
Thank you, Professor Das. We will come up with another question to you in short time. So, Professor Sir, your talk was really enlightening for all of us. You are the person who is actively associated with NEP. We have many questions for you, sir, but for time being, we will just go ahead with 1 or 2 questions. Professor Sir, like you talked about competence-based education, then the experience-based education. What do you think? What are the real challenges with this? Like, is it more of mindset? You also talked about like unlearn and relearn. What are your takings on this? Is more of mindset for the educators, parents, or students?
Of course, mindset, but active involvement, commitment with joy. There, I think, certain level of lacuna. If that the job role of teachers is compared with the how much salary he or she gets from the system, many times that confusion is there. So once teacher means teachers for life. So I think that commitment can give some positive energy to individual to relearn, unlearn, and of course take that competency-based education. Because you see, every individuals come through a process. Maybe from village, maybe from urban areas, and his or her university educations, school educations is really meaningful. So at least if we are able to decode individual life and the life of the neighbors, that is education. And here, of course, at the age of technology, I have a different perspective that many a times we switch over and the speed and try to become or participate in the race in the speed of light. So I think there we need to be a bit slow. This is for the teachers. And then automatically, when we are slow, that means our brain will get enough time to think. And that process itself transfers the individual to concentrate how an individualistic requirement is there in the classroom. Because our journey at this point of time, of course, many schools have many good teachers are examples we discuss, we recognize, but and many teachers are also not recognized, but they are committed. So we need to identify, and based on that fundamental requirement of field or classroom, I think one need to decide, and that autonomy is required. Autonomy is there. Many people enjoy and many people misuse. So here, that freedom should be there to the educationist. and they will definitely play a justified role in future, and they are playing also. Many of them are playing also. Otherwise, education survive and sustain nahi hota.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Can I have another question to you, sir? Coming from one of the principal, another teachers here. So it tells like those lessons in ICSE and CBSE are different. Is there any way we can collaborate between all these two?
You see, CBSE is a board which is open to engage with any educational organizations. We have a good discussions with ICSE, IB, and other international, including the state boards. And of course, whenever we adopt NCERT curriculum, and here in the process for the purpose of class 10th and 12th assessment, many a time we discussed with the university professor, and all our subject committee, usually headed by university faculty member, in some NCERT faculty member, and their whole sole participation from the CBSE schools and other schools are very much there. So in a way, we are open. And any feedback for any subject specific curriculum revisions, we are open, and we take the feedback from it is up to the individuals to give the secondary, especially 9 to 12. You can distinguish all these changes every year. Some changes are there in our curriculum.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sir. It was really pleasant to have all these answers. We have few more questions for you, but if time permits, we will again come back to you. So another question to Dr. Professor Das. Like you told about, it's also coming from one of the participants. What about guided self-learning? Is it for teacher, is for parents, or for both? And can you have a few takes on this guided self-learning, Professor Das?
Now, I'll tell you the context. I have long felt, and the group where we discuss and brainstorm in Odisha, the academic community, we gradually get the feeling that students have stopped studying the textbook even at postgraduate level. What has been happening so far is the plethora of information that is coming without giving opportunity for analytical thinking and proceeding to the logical end has hampered the student in a manner that they wait for the classroom teaching or go to Google Maharaj or go to the NPTEL. There are plethora of things. So what we have done now, even before the NEP came in, is that 25% of the course identified would be self-learned. And assessment will be based on self-learning, but a limited number of 30% of classes, the teacher will be available for clearing doubts. And the discussion has to be initiated by the students. And the teacher will be the catalyst in initiating the discussion. So by this, what I meant as a guided self-learning is this is what exactly I meant. And we are trying to do this in undergraduate level. We are trying to do it in postgraduate level, because we have found, particularly people who come for faculty interviews and all that, students, when we discuss, we find that the classical textbooks have not even touched. People read notes, people look at the video contents available. So what we have done, we have created a small guideline for the faculty. We have created groups have created enough material for the students and identified, and we have identified that they have to go there, and their internal assessments would be based on how much they have understood or how much effort they have put in actually trying to understand by reading books or referring to material. So when I gave that as an example of self-learning that we have started, we feel self-learning today, like all the transitions that we have seen, transformations we have seen, is a process. And this is a process where, as I say, you cannot jump physically from the bottom of the Qutub Minar to the top of the Qutub Minar without endangering your life. You must climb maybe one step at a time, two steps at a time, depending on our equilibrium. We are trying to find equilibrium in a highly unequal society, giving opportunity to people to learn by themselves and then get mentored and facilitated in terms of having a curiosity-driven learning. We think that will be more fulfilling. And that is the classic view that we hold. But this is open to question. We have started a pilot and we will see the feedbacks and then take the next step. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das. We have one more question for you, Mr. Yogesh, please. You have mentioned skills needed for next gen. So how do you see like the next gen embracing these skills? Are you very confident on this, or you have any reservations? Mr. Yogesh, please.
Oh, definitely, confidence is more than high because, like I mentioned, their adoption rate to changes that are going on with evolution and disruption is much faster than any of us did during our younger days. Because the younger generation today are being exposed to a lot of things. They are being given access to a lot of information. So their knowledge, the vast experience that they have seen will definitely, help them go out. So if you ask me, am I confident? I think I'm overconfident that they will definitely do it.
Thank you, Mr. Yogesh. I have one more question to Dr. Snigdha. So you give a really good introduction to iPrep, and everyone is very confident and very optimistic about iPrep again. So Dr. Snigdha, can you just tell about transferable skills for next gen, and what is your take on this? Dr. Snigdha, please.
Thank you, Dr. Satya. Well, transferable skills were there earlier also, it exists now also. The question of recognizing transferable skill in us is lacking. So some certain skills like communication skills, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, no matter whichever area of expertise you go into, these are certain innate skills which are very much required. And these skills cannot be taught. It has to be experienced, like what beautifully Dr. Shaha has just mentioned. You have to experience in order to analyze the situation and offer solutions. So transferable skills for the next generation is even more important because unless they know how to switch mode and use the skills that they hold as assets, they may be dejected because they are very result oriented. They're very result driven as well. So these skills is something which can really keep them going without feeling of rejection. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Dr. Snigdha. Yeah. Yes, we are really thankful to you for introducing iPrep and hope it would be really useful for all of us. We have many more questions, but we are really sorry that we are not able to put those questions to the speakers now because we are running out of time almost. But for sure, we will put these questions to the speakers, and all the participants will come back to you with the answers later. Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra. Thank you very much, Professor Das and Dr. Shah and Yogesh for all your time. So maybe for this time, we just we'll go ahead with another session. It's over to Deepak and Nishchita, please. Deepak, you are mute.
Oh, sorry, we were on mute.
Apologies.
Yeah, we would like to thank all our panelists for such an engaging discussion. So next, we would invite you all to the manual launch, the 360-degree enablement manual that we will be launching now. So I invite Dr. Satya to facilitate the manual launch now.
Thank you, Deepak and Nishchita. It's time for us to, okay, here comes our 360-degree enablement manual, which is the first product from iPrep. iPrep today and it aims at holistic development of. This is not another career manual which we find in the market. Definitely, it's totally different from that. It's as the name suggests, it's more of 360-degree enablement. It looks at holistic development of all students as well as parents. So can I request Professor Das and Dr. Shah to please show the books if you have with you. Thank you very much, sir. This is how it looks like. I would request if you can please open the ribbon. So we all understand because of COVID, we are not able to do it physically, but that would be, thank you very much, sir. And at the same time, we will have another flip book. I'll try to show it to you guys. Can we please share this? Let me see. Okay, we'll like to share the glimpse of the book in the flip book. Where, Anup, can you please share this one?
Sure, in a moment.
It will give you a glimpse of the book. We have put few of the pages in the flip book. We will also give you the link so that you can have a look at this book. How does this look like? The whole link is there in the presentations, and later we will show you. We have 15 chapters in this book, which actually enables you to the various stages in which you are the many facts you should know while preparing for the next generation. Okay, let me try to share from my side. So. Okay, here I go. Can you see it, Anup?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Yes. So this is the book. This is the flip book. We have put few pages. So this is the content. We have 15 chapters, which I told, and starting from digital literacy, dimensions of well-being. So it's not only about your career consultation. It's about everything, all the 360-degree enablement things. Trade certifications, which certifications the students should know before going into the future. Preparing a resume, which is very much important. If you go to the book, you will know how critical is these things. Then the agility, this is the need for the next gen. I think some of the speakers also focused on that. It will be your own boss, professional branding, all these things which normally you don't get in any standard books. We try to discuss in this one, and more about citizenship. Not preparing for we are not preparing for any jobs in the in your country, in your states. It's more about global citizenship. And lastly, giving back. So this book actually, we will share this link to you. Have a look on this. How does this? And if you are really interested in the book, please contact us, or you can go to our website, which will come next. So thank you very much, all of you, for this book opening ceremony. We are pleased to have this book. And if you are interested to know more about this, please be in touch with us. Thank you very much. And the next thing comes is the iPrep website. Can I request Mr. Yogeshwaran to please go ahead with the iPrep website inauguration?
Okay, so it gives me great pleasure to really launch the ipreptoday.org website. You know, definitely learnings and digital badging is going to be made easy with this. I invite everyone here, you know, to really experience it and also gain the benefit as much as possible. So wishing iPrep all the very best in all their future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yogeshwaran. Deepak, it's over to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Yogeshwaran. And the next thing is the announcement of the Kahoot results. We are yet to.
Yeah. So, Dr. Satya, can we have the names, the winners' names now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there in the screen. Can you see this, sir?
Oh, yes. You go closer.
Yes, Satya, we can see the screen. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So the first prize goes to Priyanshi. Congratulations, Priyanshi. And the second prize goes to Ashita. And the third prize goes to Kripali Sangvi. Congratulations, all of you. And the runners-up are Nihad and Jaya.
Thank you very much. Priyanshi, would it be possible to you please tell about you, from which school or which institution you are, if you are listening to us, Priyanshi?
Hello.
Hi, Priyanshi.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I am Priyanshi Chaudhary and I live in Mumbai. And I'm in standard 12 and I'm in CBSE board. Rajan's Vidyalaya is my school's name. So that's it.
Congratulations.
Please.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you very much, all of you. We hope you all found this webinar informative and useful. We would like to thank all our participants and viewers across the globe for taking time to grace this event. Thank you, Mr. Yogeshwaran. Thank you, Dr. Saha, and thank you, Professor Das, for your invaluable inputs and suggestions.
And thank you, Team iPrep, for giving us the privilege to host this auspicious launch and the opportunity to connect with our eminent speakers today and our audience. Special thanks to Dr. Satya for being such an amazing co-host. Let's also be grateful for the technology that has brought us together from different parts of the world on a single platform. We wish you all the very best future where we continue to touch each other's lives with our wisdom, kindness, and compassion. Thank you very much, all of you. Please do keep watching our updates on the iPrep platform for our next webinar. And thank you very much, all of you.
Let's sign off now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Deepak. So here we come to the end of this webinar. Thank you very much, all of the participants, and special thanks goes to all of the speakers who have spared their time from their busy schedule. We are really thankful to all of you and hope this webinar was really useful to all of us. Thank you, iPrep, for such a webinar. So we sign off from now. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.